That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Your love gives me such a thrill, but your love it don't pay my bills. I need money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Another day, another dollar. Got some money, you can holler. Want the commas, not the drama. Need a mansion for my mama. Pool full of money, I'ma make a splash. Hundreds in a bag, singles in the trash. All I see is gold stuck to my lash. A moon made of cheese wouldn't be enough cash. All your money faker than some imitation crab meat. Faces on my paper, always frowning. I got mad jeans.
Money, what I want, a lot of money. What I want, a lot of money. What I want, a lot of money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. 美好的事情都无价，请你帮我把这些都退掉。我需要钱，只是我想要，只是我想要，只是我想要的。你的爱让我怦然心动，你的爱无法为我买单。我需要钱，只是我想要，只是我想要，只是我想要的。
Money, money, I'm in love with money. Honeys, honeys, all I want is honey. Money, money, I'm in love with money. Honeys, honeys, all I want is honey. Money, money, gotta have the money. Throw some more in the air, keep it coming. Money, money, I'm in love with money. Honeys, honeys, all I want is honey. Money, money, I'm in love with money. Honeys, honeys, all I want is honeys.
Os perturbados se prevalecem, enquanto atingidos adoecem. Palavras soltas que aborrecem, esperança depois de uma prece. Um povo com crise de abstinência procura explicação pra existência no mundo onde dão mais valor pra aparência. Tem sua consequência. Negro, branco, rico, pobre, o sangue é da mesma cor. Somos todos iguais, sentimos calor, alegria e dor. Krishna, Buda, Jesus, Allah, Speed, Black, profetizou. Nosso Deus é um só, vários nomes pro mesmo Criador. Pouco me importa a sua etnia, religião, crença, filosofia. Absorvendo sabedoria, desenvolvendo meu dia a dia. Nesse mundo poucas coisas são certas, amor, sorte, morte, a vida que se leva do sul para o norte, da Ásia, América, Serra, Romano, o erro te liberta. Seja o que tiver que ser, seja o que quiser ser, seja o que tiver que ser, seja o que quiser ser. Bate a poeira, bate a poeira, bate a poeira, seja o que quiser ser. Bate a poeira, bate a poeira, bate a poeira, seja o que tiver que ser. O preconceito velado tem o mesmo efeito, mesmo estrago. Raciocínio afetado, fala uma coisa e fica do outro lado. Se o tempo é aí, vamos esperar além tudo que já passei. Nunca me intimidei, já sofri, já ganhei. Aprendi, ensinei, tentaram me sufocar, mas eu respirei. Há tanta gente infeliz com vergonha da beleza natural. É só mais um aprendiz que se esconde atrás de uma vida virtual. Gorda, preta, loira, o que tiver que ser. Magra, santa, doida, somos.
All right, hello, welcome everybody. Gonna get rid of that for a sec, and let me pull up real quick my chat. Let me know if there's any sound issues, if you guys can hear me okay. I just gotta log into this real quick. And of course I'm having to do a CAPTCHA to log in. All right, cool, we're in. So I can see your guys' chats now. Everybody say hi. All right, so what I'm gonna be doing is starting this project about the Office. So this is something that I started last year, quite a while ago at this point. So I'm a super fan of The Office, well-noted super fan of The Office, and there's always been this running gag that I appreciated where Michael is always incorrectly using phrases, incorrectly using idioms, mispronouncing words, misquoting people, you name it. And so what I wanted to do was basically collect all of those examples. And I started going online, started looking at like various forums like Reddit, Dunderpedia, you know, basically anywhere that I could find information where people had compiled these. And then I was taking everything I could find and putting it in a spreadsheet. And eventually I had quite a few, but what I started doing was realizing as I was watching through it every night, as I do, that there were actually a lot that were not in all these examples. So there were a lot that were not online, and I started noticing things here and there that, you know, basically weren't noted in any of these lists. So I decided to go through with my spreadsheet open and take notes on everything I could find. So I went through and watched seasons like 1 through 7, because that's up until Michael leaves, and then recorded every single misquote I could find. So I basically would just take any time he said anything questionable, Google it, find out if it was correct or not. You know, you can see some examples here, like a classic one. Michael says colored greens instead of collared greens. You know, he says this quote by Abraham Lincoln. This is a classic. You know, he's like, Abraham Lincoln once said, "If you're a racist, I will attack you with the North." Yeah, like obviously that's not a real quote. And then there's a lot of other ones that are sort of like less clear if it's a misquote or what exactly it is. So, you know, in the basketball episode, he calls a foul and says like naked aggression, which isn't a foul. Like that's not a type of foul in basketball. So, you know, eventually it kind of like, as things do when you're doing data collection, morphed into something that was like, let's take every time he botches a phrase, and it turned into, you know, let's just collect like when he says things that are incorrect, sort of in a certain same vein. So, you know, I sort of over collected probably, but I think there's a lot of interesting things in here regardless. Oh, hey Cedric. Cool. I'm glad I made you sign up for Twitch. So everybody welcome Cedric to the chat. Actually, I just remembered, let me turn on some music. Another R person gave me this programming coding Spotify playlist, Gabriella. So for those who don't know, Gabriella is the original founder of Our Ladies. So I got this coding Spotify playlist from her, so I'm going to start listening to that. But yeah, along with all of these misquotes, I started collecting the intended meaning. So like what I thought was either the correct thing that he should have said or what he meant to say. Collected time codes. Obviously we have, you know, like the episode title and stuff. I started trying to get the error type. So, you know, a lot of these are like different types of grammatical errors. Like I mentioned, some of them are misquotes. Some of them are mispronunciations. Some of them are what would be classified as a malapropism. And others are classified as eggcorns, mixed metaphors. And there's like all different meanings to what these are, but as you can see, this column isn't really filled in very well, so this is something that I have to work on as we go forward. This is a point where I think I need an expert to help me with this, so I have started reaching out to a couple of people that might be sort of experts in grammar that can help me out with this. We also have the director, we have the writer of the episode, and yes, I did capture video clips for all of these, some of which may need to be sort of improved upon. But what I want to do today is basically just start getting into like exploring this data. So I've collected the data, I've stared at the data for ages, but I haven't really done anything with it yet. I haven't really started like doing any analysis. So I like to sort of bring this into R and just start making some quick charts, start looking at some things. I think there's probably going to be a lot of data wrangling to do around this writer column in order to make these charts. So yeah, I guess I'll just get going. I'm going to download this as a CSV. Let's just call this like misquotes. I know, raw. Okay. And then I'm going to go open my RStudio. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. Questions about anything, questions about the data, about the project, about R, design, coding, whatever you want. Okay, I'm gonna open a new R project here. I'm gonna call it misquotes. Cool, so I've got a new R project. I'm actually gonna go over here and I'm just gonna drag this misquotes into my new folder that I just made for this. So let's see, we have misquotes. Great, got that in there. So I'll open a new script. As I always do, library, tidyverse. Let me see if I can make actually R a little bigger. I wonder, I'm sure there's like a keyboard shortcut for this. Okay, that should be big enough. Let me know if you guys can't see it. Let me know like anything's difficult to see, difficult to read, what things are looking like. Cool, thanks. Looks good. All right, so I'm gonna start reading into data, CSV, and I know what this is called, obviously, but just in case anyone didn't know, this is really nice when you have like lots of files or lots of folders and you're looking for a file to read in. You can just hit tab when you do quotes, and it'll list, oh, this is .text clipping. Whoops, I think that got cut off by accident. So yeah, if you just, yeah, let's move that to trash. .csv. Yeah, so if you just hit tab, you can autocomplete in R. Okay, read in my data. I like to just view my data in the viewer thing here, by the way. Yeah, so it looks good. You'll see like a lot of these rows are empty, so they're like NA. Always starting in an R file, so let's see, your name is Zitric, I think? Oh, yeah, Cedric. So always starting in an R file, not RMD, any reason. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know, I'm pretty lazy, so I usually like to just kind of like start coding, and I don't like compiling the RMD every time. If I were like writing a report, like I probably should do it in an RMD, to be honest. You know, like that's like the better way to do it. You know, so you can like write your prose along with your code, like take notes and stuff. But I think this is really like exploratory. So yeah, too much time setting up YAML and stuff. Like I could easily just like do a quick RMD, but like you'll find that like I'm extremely lazy. So I always want to just like get going and start working and like do something quick and dirty. And then you know, like once we get going, if I need to like make a formal report, or if I were like doing this for, I don't know, like for something special, I would definitely do RMD. But yeah, so anyways, you guys can see there's a lot of these are just NA because I left them empty because they didn't have any misquotes. So I want to leave those in though because like in the raw data, because when I make the eventual visual, I definitely want to show like, you know, which episodes were empty. I don't want to just exclude them entirely. So I want to have that in there. I think, so one of the first questions I have, maybe I'll just start writing up here like some questions that we might answer. We might do like number of misquotes by season. You know, I'm curious if there's like any fluctuation, like if this gag got bigger as seasons went on, or you know, if it was just like kind of random. Misquotes by episode is something we can do. So this is probably going to mirror like what I have in my head for what we might end up making in terms of a visual. I also want to see like this is something that might be a little harder to do like data wrangling wise, but I want to see like, are there differences by writer? So like, do some writers have more? And this is kind of complicated for a lot of reasons. Like, you know, it's pretty, it'll be like relatively simple for us to just kind of group these by writer and see like, you know, which episodes which were written by Greg Daniels, did they have a lot of misquotes versus like Mindy Kaling's, for example. But the reason it's trickier is because the way that writing rooms actually work isn't that like, you know, Greg Daniels wrote the episode start to finish and that was it, and he's the only one that ever touched it. Like when you have a TV show and you're writing it, you know, the main writer that's credited is the person that wrote the initial draft of the episode, but then it always goes back to the writer's room and all the writers work on the episode. They all contribute jokes. Some of them will rewrite a scene. So, you know, like I listened to this Office Ladies podcast, which is like a rewatch podcast by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, who were on The Office. And, you know, they're always talking about like some famous joke comes up in an episode and they'll ask one of the writers, like, who wrote that joke? And a lot of times it's not the person that actually wrote the episode. So I'm still kind of like curious about this, but it's one of those things where like, I don't know how much stock we'll put in the answer. Let's see. So RGC Geog asks, what time in the episode do they happen? Oh yeah. So we have a whole column here called time code. So each of these happens at a different time. You know, the episodes are generally like 22 minutes long or so. Or like, so there's some supersized episodes that are like 30 minutes, and there's a couple double episodes that are like 40 something minutes. But yeah, they happen at all different times. Some of them happen like right out of the gate. You know, I have a couple that are like 10 seconds. They're all over the place, but it's always going to be basically between like 0 and 20 something minutes for most of them. Yeah, good question. All right, so maybe we can just start out by doing like number by episode. That might be sort of the most like raw view of things. So I'm just gonna say like data by episode. Say I actually don't know if we need to do anything here. I wonder if like the only thing I was thinking is like filtering out those NA rows, but maybe I want to keep those in and just kind of see what happens. Maybe I can just try plotting this. I don't know if it'll work exactly. It's been a while since I've used R, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me, but let me just try plotting these and just see what happens actually. So what I'm thinking is making like a histo dot diagram. So let me just go ggplot and then plus, let's see, I think there's geom dot plot, yeah. And our data is data and our aesthetics. So we want to have on the x-axis is the episode number, and on the y-axis is going to be like the number of misquotes. So we have this num overall, or we could do title. These should both be unique, but I'm just going to do num overall for now. and see what happens. So let's see. I don't know what this is gonna. Let's see. Stat bin plot. Use different bin width. Yeah. Okay. I think it's not happy about. So I guess we have to give it a bin width. Because I really only want it to do one row. I want it to do one column for each episode. Oh, maybe I have to do, maybe because this is numeric, I have to do as factor. Let's try that. Okay, maybe that was better? Yeah, I mean, I am realizing now that this is going to be like a really long plot. Let's see, it's using bins equals 30. I definitely don't want that. Let me read up about this. So, geom.plot. The width of the dot corresponds to the bin width, or maximum width depending on the binning algorithm. The dots are stacked with each dot representing one observation. So I want like, I mean, I want the bin width, yeah, to be like number of episodes, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. RGC Geog said you should maybe make the bins number of episodes. Yeah, I think that was a good idea. Let's try that. Let's see. His question is bins an aesthetic or is it? No, it's probably just like. We probably just put this here. So bins equals. Let's see. How many episodes are there? Okay, 148. Shouldn't probably hard code this, but that's okay. Oh, it says stat bin dot using bins equals 30. Okay, so where do we have to put bins? Name is. Oh, okay, cool. This is Robert from the Dataviz Society. Oh, cool. Okay, hey Robert, nice to meet you. Okay, I wonder if this has to be in the aesthetics. Seems weird. No. Do we have to do plus stat bin dot? Okay, this is where we go to the documentation. Look up geom.plot. I've looked this up before. So there's all this stuff. Defaults to 1/30 of the range of the data. Yeah, okay. So I think yeah, Rubber says he uses JavaScript a lot more than R. Yeah, me too lately. So there was a time in oh, it's bin width. Thank you, Cedric. Cedric is the master of this, I think. So maybe I should just like, I should have actually like had Cedric on to like remind me how to use remind me how to use. So if I put 148, will that work? Remind me how to use R. I feel like 148, that's gonna make it worse, right? Yeah, that's definitely gonna make it worse. So what do we need to do? Make it like 5? There's an actual way to do this. There's a number that you're supposed to put. It's not just a random number. You're supposed to divide by something. Let's look at the examples again. Yeah, I never use this geom either, which is why I clearly don't know how to use this. Okay, so this says, okay, bin width. Pick better value with bin width. This says bin width equals 1.5. Yeah, like I feel like there should be a way that you can just do it so that it's like just automatically goes for like one stack per mark on your x-axis. Let's try bin width equals 1. Why not? Yeah, so anyways, Robert, yeah, lately I've been using JavaScript a lot more. I used to use R a lot more, so there was a time in my life when I only used R, but then maybe Cedric had it. So lately I've been really mainly using JavaScript. All right. We really don't need this to be that tall. It's just really, really long. Okay. Of course, Cedric had the answer. Binwidth equals 1. Duh. Yeah, okay, so this is kind of cool. So all these that have 1 are actually like 0, right? Because the ones that have 1, it's just counting like even the NA rows. So the rows that like don't actually have any data, but the data there is just NA, it's actually counting them. So like I'm just doing this to kind of like, I'm just doing this to see what the data looks like. I don't really care if this plot is like perfectly accurate or pretty. I was just kind of curious. So yeah, this is cool though. There's definitely some episodes that are like huge outliers. You know, there's like a lot of periods where we might have even a whole stretch of episodes where there's nothing, and then there's sort of like a burst of a bunch of different ones. I'm surprised how many episodes are showing nothing. I didn't expect that, but I wonder if that is accurate or if it's just like my perception when I was taking the data was that there was more than there were. But I thought that there were about like 50 or so episodes, not even 50 episodes, but like even less than that didn't have any data. But we'll see. I could also look at like which episodes have the most. So I could use, instead of using this like num overall, I could use the episode name and then like, I don't know, I guess tilt it. Y-axis count is less than 1. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I think what I might do, because there's just so many of these, is I'm just gonna take this data and probably filter it by I'm just gonna take out the NA rows. And it's not like, because I wanted to see this pattern with all those rows in it. Oh yeah, the axis label goes from 0.25, 0.5, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how it determines the height of these things. There's probably like, I'm sure there's a way you can set the axis so that it's you know, it's relative. So right, so this is like 50%, because this is really like a histogram. So yeah, but I think what I'm gonna do, because this is kind of just like crazy to read, is take out those NA rows, and then I'm just gonna look at the episodes that only have data. And what is this called? This is called title. Okay, so we're gonna say data, and you know, like I should probably do this outside of it, but I don't really care right now. So we're gonna say data, which I'm gonna say the filter by, okay, phrase. So we'll say not is.na phrase. Let's see what that does for us. Okay. Did it actually filter anything out? An interesting question. Oh, hey Eric, welcome. Okay, I don't know if that actually filtered anything out. Let's try this and just make sure this is actually filtering it properly. Can I type equals or can I not? Do I have to look at my keyboard to type? Oh, cool. Santiago says, greetings from Argentina. Yeah, bienvenido, Santiago. All right, so we're gonna filter. I just want to make sure this is like less. Okay, okay, so this is less. So I was not wrong. I think it was because of how many of these dots there are. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. I don't know if there's actually 1 dot per episode or not. I think it was even making only 1 dot for the ones that have 1. So it may have been like filling in the data or something. Okay, so we're going back to this. So we have the titles now. Now what I'm gonna do is, let's see, chord flip. Does this still work, or is it, maybe this is like a really old way of doing it or something, but I'm gonna try chord flip because I wanna see, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Okay, now this is way too long. This is still hard to read. Okay. So these are the episode titles that we can see now. God, this is still like, even like this, it's too hard to read. I guess I have to make the font a little smaller. Okay, I'm also just gonna make theme minimal because it's like annoying me, this gray theme. Yeah, that's true. Cedric says I could drop NA in group by and summarize it that way, so I don't get, or so I get some zeros for the other episodes. Yeah, I could do that. It's a good idea. Yeah, I could also go through. I think because this is like a histogram, it doesn't like you have to have at least 1 row, right? But if the data is, you know, if the data is like the same, because it's really just saying how many rows are there per group. Oh, cool. Hey, Jake says, a little late, but thanks for doing this and greetings from rainy upstate New York. Yes, I am in Philadelphia and it has been raining nonstop all day. It was like super gross today, raining all day outside. It's like finally stopped now, but basically it rained from like when I woke up until when I started this stream. But yeah, Cedric, I think because like, yeah, like I think you need like number of rows -1. So I think I either want to like duplicate every row that has data once, I guess. Yeah, so like duplicate every row that has data maybe, or something like that. I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of like, it's like not that important to me. I think I'm gonna like move on after this little thing. I just want to see this one last thing, which is like which episodes are have a lot. Okay, yeah, so this is what I thought. I did kind of glance at the data beforehand, and I knew this episode, The Fight, classic episode, Michael and Dwight fight each other. And so The Fight is like by far the most. There's like a ton of these in The Fight. This is interesting. Women's Appreciation, Whistleblower. I didn't really know these had a lot. A lot of them seem to be around like 4. Casino Night, there's another outlier. Casino Night was like a supersized episode. So that's sort of another thing we might have to account for, I guess. If you really wanted, like, I don't know how close we're going to go to the numbers for this project, but, you know, if you really wanted to, like, get a, you know, numbers of, like, how many misquotes exactly per episode, you really should, like, scale that by the episode length, right? Because like I said, some of these episodes are like 30 minutes instead of 20. So, you know, Casino Night is an episode that's like 30 minutes. So you should really scale that by the ratio of time, I guess. Cool. Select Mutate says, thanks for doing this. Love the font you're using. Thanks a lot. All right. So, yeah, it's a great username. Select Mutate. That's a very good username. Okay, so this was number of misquotes by episode. Let's do season. So it's going to be kind of the same thing, right? Except, okay. Let's move this down here now, and let's say data by season. So I think I'm still gonna filter out these ones that are NA because I just don't really care about them anymore. At this point, I kind of got what I needed out of that. So then we will do like, interesting. Okay, so we'll do like group by season. I think that's what it's called. And then, I mean, do we just count? That's all we care about, right? Yeah, that's it. So this is rather uninteresting data. Maybe this is kind of like, it was kind of anticlimactic. You know, I was like I was kind of had in my mind like, oh, maybe I'll make some little chart or something. But I guess I could make this into a chart. I could make this into a bar chart. But I mean, what's the point? The numbers are here. This is all we really need to know. So this is just how many there are per season. This is interesting. You know, like season 1. I mean, this tracks, right? Because season 1 only had 8. Or no, it had 6 episodes, right? And all the other seasons had like 20 something episodes at least. I think season 2 was a full season. I think it did have 20 episodes. Oh, that's a really interesting idea. Robert says we could correspond with season ratings from Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, actually, and we could even correspond to like episode ratings from Rotten Tomatoes, right? Or from like some episode rating site, because you know, you have like, I'm pretty sure there's sites that give ratings to every single episode. That's actually a really cool idea. I might think about that. Thanks. I'm gonna put that in some like to-do notes. Maybe we'll pick that up for an idea to do for next time. So idea would be get ratings for each episode and see if it correlates with misquotes. Thanks, I like that idea. There's an IMDb rating data set as a Tidy Tuesday challenge. Yeah, that's right, I remember that. I think, wasn't that for like Avatar: The Last Airbender or something? I forget which show that was, but or was it for The Office? I don't know. Yeah, Robert says he says season 7 is slacking a little bit. Yeah, and actually, okay, this is a really good point too, because I think oh, The Office in 2019 they did. Okay, cool. I'm actually gonna look that up. Yeah, I also wanted to look up season 7. I forget. Well, let me just go to my raw data here and look at season 7. I think. Okay, so season 7 did have like a couple. It like had a couple less. No, I guess this is 22. This is 22 episodes. So Michael was there through the end of season 7. Yeah, Michael was there through the end of season 7. So, yeah, that's true. So season 7 is kind of slacking off a little bit. Okay, data sets. 2019. We're just checking this out because Cedric said that 2019 they had The Office as one of their TV's golden age. IMDb, I think. There's search. Horror movie ratings. Okay. Simpson guest stars. That's not The Office. I don't see The Office here. Let's see. Oh, it was 2020 also. Okay. I should have just kept scrolling. I was too impatient. Hey, there it is. Oh, maybe this is the one where yeah, this was actually collected by The Pudding. So The Pudding did I think a contributor for The Pudding did something where they collected all of the scripts from The Office. So they have like, you know, all the text and they did some like data mining on it. Ooh, okay, let's check out. Cedric's contribution. Nice. This is awesome. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Cedric, definitely go check out Cedric Share. He makes really cool visualizations, like all kinds of Tidy Tuesday stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so go follow him on Twitter at CedShare. Like really awesome stuff. I mean, you know, check this out. And Cedric, I think, is doing some freelancing now. So, you know, if you guys ever need like R stuff, graphs, data visualization, look at that. He's doing all kinds of freelance stuff. So go check it out. Yeah, this is really cool. Okay, so they have the ratings for every episode. This is easy. So we could even like try this. Maybe we'll even start this by the end of today. Because assuming that like in fact, I'm just tempted. I'm gonna do it right here because it's so easy. They just give me this link. How could it be any easier? Because assuming like they use the same either like season and episode number or the same title, then it would be pretty easy to join. I sort of have a suspicion that like that's not going to be the case, because, you know, if you go on like Wikipedia, there's a lot of ways that you could name an episode. You know, like some episodes are called like especially the double part episodes where it's like a Benihana Christmas is like one of the episodes, but you know, that's a two-parter. So it's like part 1 and part 2. And I sort of made my own judgments when it came to like how to name these, because I wanted to name them in a consistent way. So like I sort of doubt that that's the way that they did it, but you know, we'll see. Might have to just kind of go through and like edit it by hand a little bit. Sometimes I like to do that. Wow, this is so nice. I was thinking of this. I was like, oh, that's a really good idea to get all the ratings, but you know, I'd have to like go probably find some RMDB package. You know, like I don't know. Like I didn't really feel like going to the API and all that. This is really cool though. This is so easy. I'm definitely gonna work on this. Yeah, season should be easy. Yeah, season is super easy to join. And even like, I think it should be possible, like just by season. Okay, so they do season and episode, but like, let's see if they split their episodes into 2. Okay, so like, I know like Goodbye Toby is Goodbye Toby is a 2-parter, but see, they just listed as like 1 episode. So we'd probably have to go in there and like, but see, then Lecture Circuit they list as like 2-part. Like this is what I did in my. I think they probably got the data from like the same place or something. This is what I did in the sheet. Is like, you see, Lecture Circuit has like part 1 and part 2. But this Goodbye Toby is just 1, even though I know this was a 2-parter. So, yeah, I just went through and like duplicated this and made it a 2-parter. So maybe I'll have to do the same thing with this data set. But yeah. Oh yeah, Cedric says it's also possible he scraped the IMDb 2 weeks ago for the RStudio table contest. Ah, I'm really interested to see what you enter for the table contest. I know. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I haven't really tried any of these packages, but I know, like, I've seen all these things that people are posting on Twitter of like stuff you can do with GT and like Flex Table and all these new packages that are coming out for making tables, which seems really cool. They seem really, really cool. If I ever need to make a table, I'm going to go to GT and try to learn it. Oh, cool. You're going to share it tomorrow. Awesome. Awesome. I'll check it out. Yeah, I saw that. Tyler Morgan Wall, of course, he like made a Ray render entry for the table contest. So it was like a you know, like a 3D table, like a dining room table rendered in R. But then somehow he also rendered like a GT table on top of it. It was crazy. I thought that was pretty funny. Tyler's stuff is getting insane, by the way. If anybody wants to check out like what you can do with R nowadays, ray render, go check it out. He just is implementing now like fluid simulation, hair simulation, like probably he's gonna do cloth or something. You know, like it's insane what you can do nowadays. So, all right. Okay, we're gonna write some code, I promise. Differences by writer. Okay, this one is gonna be interesting. Interesting because I don't really know what I'm gonna do about this. Okay, so let's go over the problem. Here's the problem. So we have a file, or we have a column here that has writer. And these are fairly standardized. The issue comes when you have multiple writers. So like right off the bat, you can see the first episode has 3 writers. And I want to somehow like include all of them. Another problem is Gene Stupnitsky and Lee Eisenberg, they're a writing team, so they're always together. But yeah, like if you go down here, look, like of course, like thank you Wikipedia, that's where I copied this from. Thank you Wikipedia for saying Gene and Lee, and then saying Lee and Gene. Of course they couldn't just pick one. I have no idea what, like I think it's complete chaos who comes first and who comes second in this Gene and Lee thing. But we're gonna have to figure that out. So yeah, how do I count this? I want to make sure that I'm counting, like if this episode is written by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant and Greg Daniels, I want to like, you know, like I want to give this, like this means like each of them gets 1 point, right? Just to be fair, because like we don't know who wrote the joke. So I want to be like each of them gets 1 point. Yeah, Eric says, my partner's a liberal arts professor. Their department got a bunch of alumni data and we're so lost. I used GT to make an interactive pie chart. Their minds were blown. Nice. Everyone loves a pie chart, right? Yeah, Jake is like, okay, stringer detect, case whens to fix it. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, I could definitely fix the Gene and Lee thing by just doing, like, case when or something. But I think I have a solution that might, or I think what I want to do might, like, it might, like, kind of even things out. Oh yeah, maybe they make sure they appear equally as first and second writers. That's a good point. Okay, so I'm gonna try, let's see, like, data by writer. You guys are gonna watch me type equals instead of the dash, like, probably like 100 more times before this is over, so get used to it. I should just key map this. So I'm gonna try to split, because the nice thing about this is that all of these names are separated with an ampersand. That's the nice thing, right? I think that's like consistent throughout. It's always an ampersand. So what I'm going to try to do is just split these off into columns, like writer 1, writer 2, writer 3, and then kind of like see where that gets us. So, what is separate, right?
Anything special?
It's separate, right? Oh, whoops. Let's just run this. Separate a character column into multiple columns with a regular expression. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I love separate. This is the funny part. Like, I'm looking this up. I don't know, less than a year ago, let's say like 1 year ago, my job was basically to like all day long just write data wrangling that was like separate, like gather, spread, like all day long. And now I have to look it up because I can't even remember what it's called. So let's see. So we're separating writer into. Okay, so into. I wonder how you do it when you don't know how many columns there's going to be. because like I think maybe there's only 3 writers, but let's just say that there's 3, and let's just assume that there's 3. Let's just see if this works. I don't know how many columns to make for into is the problem. Ampersand. Let's see what this gives us. Expected 3 pieces. Yeah, that's because I put 3 columns, so it's gonna say like it's gonna fill them with something else when it doesn't have a 3rd writer. Yeah. I think this worked. Just want to kind of like sanity check, you know, kind of go through this a little bit and make sure nothing horrible happened. Because this data is like only 200 rows, you can do this. You can kind of just scan it by eye and see what, you know, like see if anything looks off. Looks good. I don't think there's any cases where there were 4 writers. So I think the most there ever was 3. So yeah, this is good. Oh yeah, Eric says you never knew you could tab for files in the working directory. Yeah, that saves me because, I mean, who like remembers the working directory, right? So. Oh yeah, Cedric says str split. Yeah, but that returns a list. Yeah, I think. Okay, so now we have these like writer 1, writer 2, writer 3. Interesting. Okay. I'm wondering how to like. Okay, so bear with me here. I have an idea of how I can sort of like duplicate this, because what I really want to do is like duplicate. I want to like duplicate both of these rows for each writer, right? So I want to have like 2 rows that say writer is Ricky Gervais, and then 2 rows where it says Stephen Merchant, and then 2 rows where it says Greg Daniels, but everything else is the same. So maybe there's like a really fancy way to do this. But what I'm gonna do is like the dumb way, which is just say like pivot longer might do the trick there. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I guess that is what I want to do. I don't know why I thought I wanted to do something else, but you're right. That's actually that's actually just exactly what I want to do. This is really nice to have people like coaching me along. I'm enjoying this. I could get used to this, having like coding coaches here. Okay, so calls equals writer 1 to writer 3. I also have like only used pivot longer a couple times in my life. I'm used to using gather. So if I'm doing this terribly, yell at me. Names to, what do we want the names to, I don't know, let's just call it name, sure. Let's see what this does. It did it. It's perfect. You guys are geniuses. Oh, I see. Yeah. This is what it did, right? So it just says writer 1, and then it's like the value is like Ricky Gervais or whatever. So we don't actually really care about this, the name. We can actually just use the value. And then we are gonna want to. I think we are gonna want to. We could like I guess we could leave these in. I'll just like filter them out for some, you know, just in case, because I feel like it. So I'm just gonna filter. Not is NA value. I should probably like rename that to something else. But you know. Okay. cool. Oh, wait, I also wanna, I forgot, I also wanna, I should do the filtering out of other things. Episodes that don't have any, I should also filter out, right? So let's just like do that before we do anything else. And then let's do like a group by value and count. Let's just see what happens. Interesting. Are these names spelled differently? Or so why is it giving me 2 Michael Schurs? My first guess is white space. Yeah, my first guess is white space. Let's try something like this. So value equals stringer white space. Isn't there like a, I thought there was like a trim white space function. Oh yeah, it's just trim. Removes white space from the starting and the ending of the string. Value. Yeah, so you will notice that I also don't have hotkeys for pipe memorized. Very bad. Oh, str trim. Yes. That was the answer. Yes, the answer was white space. I've done enough string manipulation to know that. Okay. So let's see. Eric says, if you're unsure if you have enough columns when separating, you can always create more than needed, like 10 or whatever, and then use call means is NA X to get percentage of NA values. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Hey, Tina's in the chat. Hey, what's up, Tina? Tina's like, yeah, we must stick to tidyverse. Yeah, Tina loves tidyverse. Tina loves learning new things. Yeah, Jake says Control-Shift-M for pipe. I do believe you're right, and it has saved 14 years cumulatively. Yeah, I'm really bad at like, I need to just like sit down one day and like force myself to learn all the hotkeys. Like, it's like I said when we started, like Cedric was like, well, why don't you start with an RMD? And I'm like, I should, but I just want to start writing the code. And it's the same way with the hotkeys. I'm like, I know I should learn them. I know it'll make me more efficient, but I just want to start, and I'm like too lazy to actually put in the work to learn them, even though it would save me so much time. Okay, so this one I actually do want to like make a chart because there's like a lot of them. I don't want to like look at all that. So let's do like ggplot plus geom bar and data by writer. So I'm gonna say that we actually want like x is n, I think, right? It's n, we did count, and then y is what was that called? Value. And then fill is also value, which is going to be wacky. It's going to be totally crazy because there's going to be like 1,000 colors. And then let's do theme minimal so we don't have to look at the gray theme. Stat count can only have an X or a Y aesthetic. Oh, okay. Is it geom column? No. That's weird. I know I'm doing something really stupidly wrong here. I don't know what it is. Someone tell me what I'm doing wrong. Stat count can only have an X or Y aesthetic. Yeah, it's trying to do stat, but I just want it to do, I don't want it to do stat count. Why is it trying to do stat count for me? We could use geom call, I think, instead. Yeah, that was what I thought. Oh, geom call. It wasn't geom column, it was geom call. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, the legend is a lot. Okay, yeah, cool. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. Yeah, Cedric's like, yeah, he doesn't know many shortcuts. Only pipe and insert chunk. Should give it a try and learn more. Yeah, like I think for a while I did have a shortcut that maybe I like mapped it myself, the one just to make arrow, you know, like assignment. But then, yeah, I like switch computers. You get lazy, you know how it goes. Okay, let's actually sort. Let's sort these, right? I guess to be proper, I should like arrange M. Yes. Where is my zoomed thing? It didn't update it. Did it actually work? I have to do reorder value n, right? Right? Did I finally remember something in R? Aha, I remembered something in R. Okay, this is interesting. Why is it all blurry? Please stop being blurry. There we go. Okay. I don't know why I chose to color these like this. This is completely unnecessary. It looks really wacky too. Because it's all like rainbow over here, but then here, since I reordered them for some, like the color didn't remap. I guess this just makes it more fun. Yeah, we're streaming, like we should make it more fun. You don't want to look at gray bars all day long. Okay, this is also good news though, because this shows us that we definitely did it right, because Jean and Lee always write together. Like they are a writing duo, so they only write with each other. There's no solo credits for either of them. So this makes a lot of sense that they have exactly the same number. This means our data wrangling was correct. Interesting. Okay, so Jean and Lee wrote the most episodes. That's kind of cool. It also might be because they were like with the show the longest. And definitely like you'll see more episodes are written by the writers who started with the show. So the show started with only like these writers basically, and actually not, I don't think Brent Forrester was a writer. Maybe he was original, but I don't know if he was first season or second season. But you can see like all these writers down here. A lot of these are like, you know, like one-offs, like they wrote 1 or 2 episodes, and some of these guys and girls joined in like they joined in like sort of the later seasons. Like I think after season 4 or 5 they hired a couple writers, and then another one in 6 and 7. So definitely like the writers that were with them from the beginning, like Jean and Lee were some of the original writers. Paul Lieberstein, Mindy Kaling, Michael Schur, Jen Salata, Greg Daniels, obviously, BJ Novak. Those are the original writers, so though it makes sense that they would have the most episodes. But it's also kind of interesting that like among those original writers, there's definitely some differences. So, you know, BJ Novak, for example, and like Greg Daniels, they were both original writers on The Office. And same with like Mike Schur, Jen Salata, like, and they wrote a lot of episodes. But interestingly, like Gene and Lee clearly outpace everybody else in number of misquotes written. So these guys are up at like, what, this is 35? Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Okay, so Gene and Lee, and they sort of have a style too, which I think makes sense with this. Like they're really good with sort of wordplay and stuff. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this. Let's see. So I'm just gonna make a note for myself. Gene and Lee have like way more than anyone else. Maybe like consider number of episodes written over like number of misquotes or something like that. So maybe we should get like a more accurate statistic for this because you know, I said like this handful of writers were with them from the beginning. So they probably wrote like similar numbers, but they may not have written exactly the same number of episodes. So that's something to consider. You know, maybe Gene and Lee did write like a dozen more than other people or something. So we can definitely check that out. Maybe we can try doing the IMDb ratings. I don't know. What do people feel like? Are people in the mood for IMDb ratings? Are people feeling it? I also want to kind of make some notes of like things to do. I wanted to show you guys a little bit like how I tend to organize projects like this. All right, cool. So Higgs says, yeah, let's go for the ratings. Okay, let's do it then. So IMDb is greater than Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. I mean, IMDb also like, I guess Rotten Tomatoes tells you the same thing, but Rotten Tomatoes is more like critics' reviews, right? And IMDb is just like crowdsource, I guess. Yeah, I think so. So this is like, I think I'm actually just gonna take this Office ratings and put this into a Google Sheet. So let's call this ratings.csv. Okay. So let's just like put this into a Google Sheet because I need to make a few edits to it, and there's no reason to do this with code, right? When I'm just gonna go through and like basically check. What I'm gonna do is pop this out actually. And I'm just gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna go through here and like just kind of check which ones have like two-parters and make sure that all the titles match. Oh, let me zoom so you guys can actually see this. Okay. So basically what I want to do, because I want to match it by title, because I think we're using like different numbering schemes for the episode and the season. So it's just going to be easier on me, honestly, to just go through and join it by title. Even though it's a little bit of manual work, but you know, I love doing some manual labor. All right, pilot, diversity day, healthcare, the Alliance, basketball, hot girl, Dundee's, sexual harassment. There's also like a better way to do this. I mean, I could I could try to join these, or I could like anti-join them and see like which names appear in one. Oh, Cedric. All right, cool. Cedric has to go to bed. Yeah, Cedric is on European time. See you later, but thanks a lot for dropping by. I will definitely let you know when we're doing more. Okay, so Dundee's, sexual harassment, Office Olympics. I think I'm just gonna look for the. I think I'm just gonna really like focus on the ones that are. Oh, whoops! This is definitely gonna. This is gonna be a pain. Let's move this over here, and we'll put this one here. I think I'm just really gonna focus on the ones that are like the two-parters, because those are the ones that I know are probably wrong. And then if we still have problems, if we try to join and there's still like things that aren't joining, then we can sort of cross that bridge when we come to it. So basically this is what I'm going to do. It's very high tech. I'm going to go through and say this is called a Benihana Christmas Part 1, and this is called a Benihana Christmas Part 2. This is going to be a little boring, so if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. The job. And you can watch me mistype again and again. Oh yeah, this was season 4. Season 4, at the beginning of season 4, they did like a whole bunch of double episodes. So you guys can see, like, there was like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, like there was like 4 or 5 double episodes in a row. Yeah, Robert's like, how the sausage is made. Yeah, you know, I said like, it's kind of funny because I said like, I advertised this project as like, you know, see how a Dataviz gets made like start to finish, right? But really that's like not the case, because for this project, 90% of the time went into the data collection. You know, it took me months to go through and like collect all the data. I mean, granted, I was, you know, just kind of like working slowly whenever I felt like it. Like I'd like watch an episode over lunch and just kind of do it here and there. It wasn't like a big grind or anything. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely how, you know, like you ask people, it's kind of not very glorious work all the time, making these things. So yeah, I would have watched it anyways. Yeah, exactly. And like, that's the other thing. And like when I went through it, you know, it was like half of them I already knew, right? Like I could just go, what I did first was just copy and paste all the episode titles. And then I went through and just kind of like from my memory, filled in all the ones that I knew. Cause I'm such an Office nerd that I had like, you know, I still have like a lot of episodes memorized. And my boyfriend makes fun of me because like even after I did this whole project, the whole process of like taking all these notes, you know, going through like painstakingly watching every episode and pausing it and recording it, and then I went through them all again to like record the video clips. And then I did take a little bit of a break, but then, you know, maybe like a couple weeks later, I was back on to watching The Office just like at night before I went to bed and stuff. It's like, aren't you sick of it yet? But no, I was not. I'm still watching it. Like I just watched some episodes last night, you know. Whoops. So. Okay, I think we're almost done here. Promise we're gonna get on soon. Niagara Part 1, Part 2. Oh, I need to make this lowercase. Ooh, almost missed that. Let me go back and actually find lecture circuit. Yes. Because, oh, lecture circuit I have capitalized, but the other ones I don't. Interesting. Okay. It's not really interesting, is it? Okay. Damn, that's dedication. I can't tell if it's dedication or obsession with the show. Maybe both. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's obsession with the show and sort of like I think it's also like I have an obsessive personality. So like I will just, I don't know, like I was gonna like keep this under wraps or something, but I've done this with like 2 other shows and I just haven't made the projects yet. Like I collected the data, but I just haven't really had time to like make the projects. So I did this with Friends as well, which is another one of my favorite shows. And with that one, it was even more intense because I wasn't just looking at specific things. I basically collected like everything about every episode and about like everything in their past. And I'm trying to make this like big timeline thing that's kind of crazy of like every interaction they ever had. And yeah, Tina's like, it's a cry for help. Guys, this is what you do in lockdown. I mean, like, we're on lockdown. What are you gonna do if not watch your shows and just like obsessively take notes about them? So yeah, so I did this with Friends as well. If anybody knows Gourmet Makes, which, you know, I mean, Bon Appetit sort of had an implosion because, you know, like they're racist and all that, you know, like all that crap. You know, so normal publishing stuff. So they kind of imploded, so these videos are no longer being made, but before they imploded, this was one of my favorite things to watch, where like Claire Saffitz, this pastry chef, she attempts to make gourmet like snack foods, so like gourmet tater tots, gourmet Andes Mints, Bagel Bites, Pop Rocks, Pringles. So I also collected data on like every episode of this show, and just because I'm just want to give you guys a little sneak peek. This is the data set for this show, right? So let me see if I can like zoom into this or not. Okay, I don't know how to make the text bigger on notes, but this is the data. It's just bullet points. It's just bullet points for every episode. Every single episode, I just have what she did on every single day, everything she tried. So like she tries a bunch of things and then it fails. So like she tries making a yellow cake and it's good, and then people give her advice, and then she tries making the filling, and then she tries assembling it and it fails. And so yeah, this is the data for this project, which I still have not made, and I don't know when I ever will make it. But this is another lockdown project. So apparently when quarantine hits, I just make obsessive notes about shows. Okay, but I was gonna do something real. We were actually doing something. I promise we're doing something. So let's put this in, nope. Our projects. Oh. But what do I call it? Clean. That's a very uninspired name. Okay. And just in case anyone has massive anxiety, I have been working on this project for the last hour and 20 minutes without saving the file. Pretty sure Jenny Bryan would come burn down my computer if she knew what was happening today. I don't know. Exploratory analysis. Okay. Okay, so we finally saved it. Now what I'm gonna do is say office ratings clean, and like maybe I'll come back and clean the script up later. Famous last words there. Read CSV. It's clean. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's see. something like compare episode ratings with misquotes. Okay, so now what I'm questioning is what to name this. You guys will see as these streams go on how terrible I am at naming things. Like, I'm tempted to call this data join, which is a terrible name. So why don't I call this, like, I don't know, data with ratings. Another terrible name. Arguably even worse. So we're gonna take, do we want our original data? Yeah, that's fine. We can just do our original data. And left join. I like to put dots, episodes with ratings. No, that's a good idea, yeah. Let's do that. Episodes with ratings. That's a better idea. Thanks, Robert. A weird quirk when I do left join, when I do any kind of join, I like to put the dot, which is just the data. It's just the thing you're piping into it, but it just helps me kind of like visualize the join. So we're joining this with Office ratings clean and by equals title and trying to see what these columns are named. Title. Ah, they're both named title. Excellent. My God, there's not even a warning message? I don't know if that's ever happened before. That makes me suspicious that there's not a warning message. This was it. Okay. I mean, seems good to me. Yeah. Warning, there's no warning. Yeah, like, honestly, I mean, I'm always suspicious if there's not a warning, right? Okay, so now what were we actually going to do with this? I'm like losing my train of thought here. We're going to do something cool. Okay, so it was going to be like do episodes that have more misquotes also have more like worse or better ratings, right? That was the question. Or like, is there a correlation? Is there a correlation between episode rating and number of misquotes? That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Okay, so what that means is we need to get the number of misquotes per episode, and then we need to get the ratings per episode. So we have all of that here, but it's not really in the right format. So what we want to do is do something like take this and do like group by, so title, that's right, that's the episode, so the title, and then we want to like summarize, I think, and we want to say misquotes equals like sum. Can you just sum like the number of rows, or do I just need to make a column that has like, do I just need to make a column that has like a 1 if it was a thing and a 0 if it was an NA? It seems really dumb, like it seems like a stupid thing to do, but let's actually call this has misquote. And I'm gonna say phrase, so if is.na phrase. So if that is NA, it's going to be a 0, else it's going to be a 1. And then I'm going to sum by has misquote. Seems like maybe it'll work. Seems good, yeah. And then we also want to bring through the episode rating. So the rating is, what is this called? IMDb rating. I guess we can just do like mean, right? Misquotes equals sum, not is.na phrase. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Let's do that instead. That's better. Cool. Thank you. Clearly I don't summarize. Should only be 1 rating per episode. Yeah, there is only 1 rating per episode. Can you just write like rating equals IMDb rating? Like, is that gonna work? Or what I'm wondering is, like, do you have to have a mean or a sum or something here? Well, let's try it and just see what happens, right? Regrouping output by title. Oh, I thought it was grouped by title. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can just do I guess you can just write that. Cool, that doesn't matter then. I know a Benihana Christmas had only 0, so that is indeed accurate. Why is it giving me multiple rows per... I mean, these are just duplicated. Like, is it a white space thing again? No, that can't be it. It's definitely doing 1 row per quote. So if it has 6 quotes, it's doing 6 rows. I guess that makes sense, and there's probably a better way to do this, but, like, you know, I could also just do unique by title, right? No? What is the tidyverse? What is the way to remove duplicate rows? Duplicated. Ah, distinct. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, that's what I wanted. Distinct. This is a life hack I will not forget. Yeah, I knew there was a tidyverse way to do it. So distinct title. Do you have to carry through? I think you have to carry through the other things, don't you? Yeah, that's only going to bring through title. So, okay. This is what we wanted. This is really cool. I like this. I'm happy with this. But I did realize I also want to bring through another variable. Oh, you can pass keep all equals true into string. Thank you. That's a much more elegant way to write this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So there was another variable I wanted to bring through here, though. I wanted to have the number of the episode. Oh, with oh yeah, okay. Let's just like look up distinct. It'll probably tell us, right? Oh yeah, dot keep underscore all. Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to bring through something else. I just remembered. I wanted to bring through... I wonder if I can just write that and it'll bring through the column instead of writing rating equals that. I'm just kind of curious if that works. Yeah, that worked. Okay. because I want to have that so that I can put them in the chronological order. Even though, like, I don't know if that really matters. But whatever. We'll just do it for now. Okay, let's just start plotting, right? Always start plotting. That's a good way to start. So what do I want to plot? I want x-axis. Okay, x-axis is the like the number overall, and then I want to have like a line, or like I want to have like points, or maybe we can just like make it a line. Like that's fine too. That's the number of misquotes, and then I want to have one that's the rating, and we'll just kind of see like how close or how far they are. And there's maybe like there like could be some cool ways to plot this. You could do like a dumbbell chart or something. That would be an interesting way. Although they're not on the same scale, so that wouldn't really work actually. Okay, let's just go. Actually, I'm gonna have like my data up here. Oh, cool. Jake says if you put parentheses, I never knew that. If you put parentheses around the whole thing, it'll just show a preview of it. Because I mean, that's like, I always want that, right? I always want to see the preview of it. Yeah. That's cool. That's a nice trick. I like that trick. I'm gonna remember that. And Tina's hype about the free education. Yeah. Free education, you know. Sorry, I bumped my microphone. Got a little excited there. Free education, you know, free distraction, free procrastination, like free entertainment. Okay, so we said we want the x-axis to be this num overall, or really it should be like, I should really be like the title is what we want. But now I'm thinking like, I guess we can always just do chord flip. So yeah, okay, so we'll just do reorder. It's gonna look crazy at first, is why I'm like hesitating. Because these titles are so long. Again, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be this super long chart. Okay, num overall, and then y is, first we can do like the misquotes. Why is it yelling at? Oh, it's because I have a plus. Okay. G on point. ES x equals. You guys might be like, oh, why do you keep typing this? Like you like, and I always put like data equals and like x equals. I just like being very explicit with my ggplot code. So like you could also put your aesthetics up here, but I always kind of like to just write it so that like every line has like a declaration of aesthetic, and it declares like each one, so it's like very explicit and very clear like what each one is doing, because it's obviously I'm easily confused. So yeah, and let's just like let's just say like this is color equals red, and this is like color equals blue or something. Like we should probably actually, 4 rows contain missing values. Okay, look into that in a little bit. Yeah, remember when I said this was going to be crazy? That's what I meant. Oh yeah, we also need to like normalize them or something, right? Because yeah, we need to like do some normalization or something, because these are on different scales. I should have remembered that. I guess I am just curious if they're not like that different, and I guess I'm just kind of curious if they varied with each other. Let's just try normalizing them. So let's say like misquotes is misquotes divided by mean of misquotes. I'm really sorry if there's like anyone, if I'm doing this wrong and someone's like you could directly plot the rating versus the misquotes. Oh, duh. Good idea. I should do that. You're right. Let's do that. That's a great idea. Yeah, you'll also find that like streaming sort of fries your brain. So like things that would normally be obvious, like if you want to see a correlation, you should just like plot the two variables. Yeah, stuff like that is kind of like escapes your brain. It's very difficult to code while you're streaming. I don't know why it makes everything so much harder, but it just does. So let's see, we'll call the X is just like the misquotes, and then Y is like rating. And the color, I want to like color them by if it's a misquote, or rather, yeah, we'll just leave the color off for now. We'll just call it this. Let's just see what happens. Yes, the misquotes are like discrete, so this is gonna happen like this. Yeah, I mean, like maybe, right? Maybe if you fit a trend line to this, it would maybe be like okay. I never use this, so like I don't actually know what it. Oh yeah, requires the following aesthetics. I don't know if this is going to be like good or bad or what this is going to be, but yeah, I mean it's not like awesome, right? It's a very marginal difference. It just seems kind of flat, right? It just seems kind of like not that impressive. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, geom jitter. That's a good idea. Geom jitter with some alpha to make the points stand out. That is a good idea. You guys are full of good ideas. This music is some kind of like jazzy music. Yeah, not really a correlation. I agree. Kind of fun experiment though. It was cool to see. It might be another, you know, it's kind of cool. Like, we also just have this data now, right? So the nice part is that like we have the ooh, whoops, where did I put that? Oh, I guess I kind of screwed up. I destroyed the join thing here with all this stuff. But my point is like we joined the data with the IMDb ratings, which like even if we don't end up using it is kind of cool because now like we have that data. So we could use that data in our final visual. You know, like it might be cool just for people to see like when you click on this episode, you want to know like I was planning on showing who wrote the episode, who the director was, and now we can show like IMDb rating, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Tina, you should live stream your dissertation. I don't know, has anybody ever done that? You might be the first person to do that. That would actually be really cool. I think it would be the most stressful thing you'll ever do in your life, just FYI. because you get to like people get to watch you make all your mistakes, right? So like you guys got to watch me make all these mistakes, which is a good thing, right? Like I want that. I want you guys to see me making mistakes and like how I fix it or how you fix it for me, more likely, since everyone tonight has just been fixing my mistakes for me. But yeah, I don't know if I could handle that with like a dissertation. Yeah, Twitch has rules against live streaming mental breakdowns. That's true, that's true. That might be labeled, you know, like mature content only or something. Yeah, and Higgs says you can use ggpubr statcore to find out the correlations p-value. Yeah, so I also... Another thing, like, when I said like, oh, I never use GM Smooth, and like, oh, I like, how do I get the correlation or the p-value? That's also what I used to do in my job. My job was like, this job that I used to have for like a year was like data visualization and analytics for an epidemiologist here in Philly at Penn. So, you know, like it was all analyzing like epidemiological studies, like case studies. And so it was just all like biostatistics. So all day long it was like making charts, data wrangling, and then like doing the statistics. So I used to know how to do like actual statistical tests and like find p-values and like figure out the right test and do ANOVAs. And I mean, all that stuff is like stats 101. So I understand that's very unimpressive, but like now I've completely forgotten that. It's only been like, you know, a year barely since I quit that job, and I've completely forgotten how to do all statistics. All right, this was cool though. I think I'm kind of done with this for now. I'm done with like these plots and stuff, but we'll do a couple more things. If you guys want to keep hanging out, we'll just kind of wrap things up a little bit here, and I'm happy to keep chatting and stuff. Robert asks, what kinds of things do you do with JS? Oh yeah, okay. So JavaScript. Oh well, let me show you. Let's see. So I just published this visualization recently. So this is like a visual story that I did. Most of my stuff with JavaScript, I mean, it's like, you know, making weird websites, making cool stuff. I do, so what the stuff that I like enjoy doing, like the stuff that I love doing is making like visual essays. You think of like The Pudding, the New York Times, you know, that's what I enjoy doing. And making more kind of like creative, designy, artsy, interactive websites. So this is a story about retired hurricanes. I won't go through like the entire thing. I mean, this is like a lot of stuff, right? So this is like a, you know, journalism article. But, you know, it has some graphics. It's about how hurricane names become retired. So like hurricanes are named with recycling lists. So like these lists repeat every 6 years. But whenever whenever there's a storm that's like really damaging or causes a lot of deaths, it's retired out of like respect for the victims. And so you can see like here in 2018, this is the list, and it should all be used again in 2024. But Florence and Michael were both retired in 2018, and so they're going to be replaced the next year. So I took a look at like all these retired storms ever since we started naming storms back in the 50s, and collected all this data about them, like the wind speeds, the, you know, damage they caused, the number of deaths they caused. So like these bars, well, I will show you the legend. The length of the bar represents the amount of damage it caused, adjusted for inflation, and then the circle at the end is the number of deaths. These are the previous occurrences of the storm. So I mentioned like those names repeat. So, you know, this storm was used 5 times before the name ended up being retired. And then this is the strength of the storm wherever it struck. So like storms, you know, can strike the Gulf Coast, Eastern Seaboard, Caribbean, or like Central America. And then this is the peak category of whenever it hit landfall in each of those areas. And sometimes it like didn't affect a certain area. But what I was really excited about with this one is I wanted to make this a radial graphic from the beginning because, you know, it's like a hurricane. So like the circle, you know, like the circular thing kind of has a visual metaphor, like it represents a hurricane. So I knew I wanted it to be a radial graphic. But these really work better in print because, you know, online, like this is pretty small, right? And like in print, you know, I don't want to like turn my head like this and like that. And like, it's really annoying. So in print, you can like turn the whole page and look at it and zoom in. So I tried to replicate that on the web. So I made this interactive thing where you can zoom and it zooms in like this. And then using your scroll wheel, you can turn the entire thing. So you can read like all the way around the graphic if you want. And you can operate this with your keyboard as well to make it keyboard accessible. And it has these, you know, tooltips and stuff. So yeah, and this works on mobile as well. I'm very proud that like if I resize this window, this whole thing is fully responsive to width and height, and it works beautifully on mobile. You can also do the turning thing on mobile. So yeah. Cool. Robert says, beautiful legend. Haig says, yeah, I love circular visuals. Jake says, ooh, this is amazing. Purely independent work, or was this done for a firm? Yeah, this was actually independent. So like this was independently initiated. I just sort of started reading about this idea of retired hurricanes, and then I like found this data. I found this like Wikipedia page with like a list of every retired hurricane and found the data and just kind of went from there. But then I pitched this article to Scientific American. So it did end up being published, or let me find you guys a picture. Yeah, so this did end up actually being published in print in Scientific American magazine. But then the online version I just published on my own after the exclusivity ran out. Tina asks, didn't it take you forever to code? Sort of, yeah. I mean, the main part of it, you know, like really the code was just that. The code was just that main visual. So yes, it was a long time to code. It was a lot to figure out like the geometry too of all these things, like how to make these things with D3, you know, especially these little diamonds. These were like a pain in the ass to make, and like get everything perfectly aligned and all that. And then the sizing, it was all about like the zooming thing. Like the turning thing is actually pretty easy, right? That's just like, the turning thing was pretty easy to do, because you just attach like an event listener to the wheel and then you just like rotate the whole SVG, which is not that hard. That's just like a few lines of code. But the whole like zooming thing and making this like responsive and work on every device and like all that was a lot of work. Yeah, wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of other stuff. What do I do with JS? Yeah, make weird websites. One of the first things I ever made was this this visual story about hurricanes. And there's this stupid bug on Mapbox where it like has these little dots all over the place when you use Brave, the browser that I'm using. Let me switch to Chrome. Yeah, so this is this visual story that I made about remotely triggered earthquakes. So I won't make you guys go through all of it, but basically, you know, it's like a scrolly telling piece. It has a lot of cool interactions. It's a really cool story, this idea of like remotely triggered earthquakes. It's like when there's a really, really big earthquake, it can actually trigger all kinds of other earthquakes like around the world, not just in the immediate vicinity, like the aftershock zone, but it can trigger them like all over the world. This was a really fun one to make. This was like one of the first things that I ever made that was like a real JavaScript project. But yeah, you guys can check out like you can check out all my work on my website. So I think it's in the like Twitch description somewhere. So if you go to williamrchase.com, you can see a bunch of my work. I do a lot of writing too. I have a newsletter, so definitely go sign up for my newsletter. This is another weird website that I made with this variable font interaction, which follows your mouse. But yeah. All right, but I think that was good. I think I'm gonna kind of call it quits there. So I will pick this up next week. 2 hours I feel like is a good place to stop. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose my voice or something. But yeah, thanks so much for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you guys learned something. I learned a lot of things. You guys taught me a lot of things, which was really cool. Yeah, I think next week I'm gonna probably start doing some. I'm gonna start kind of like making a list of things to do for the data, because there's still a lot of like hand, like, you know, stuff by hand that I have to do for the data, which I probably won't force you guys to watch me doing all of that because it's gonna be super boring. But I want to kind of like organize things better, get like a project plan going. Today was kind of just like introduction, have fun, kick things off, you know, look at the data. But I really want to like start making a plan of like to-dos. And then we might also kind of like think about design next week, like start thinking about how I want to make this, or like what the story I want to tell. And then we'll definitely do at least one stream, which is like going to be more like in-depth design. So we're going to go into Figma, you know, and we're going to actually like build a full wireframe and like figure out what the visual look is going to be, the typography, the colors, the layout, all that stuff. And then it'll be coding it in JavaScript. So you guys can learn some JavaScript, watch me fail at JavaScript. I'm not very good at it. But I think I am going to be building this project with Svelte. So if anyone is interested in learning Svelte, which is a really cool JavaScript framework that people have been using for Dataviz, then definitely come check out the JavaScript streams. Svelte is really cool. I'm still learning it, so it'll be a process. You'll be learning with me. Lots of Googling is going to happen, but yeah, definitely stick around. I will be here every Thursday unless I tweet that I won't be. So follow me on Twitter for updates. It'll be happening every Thursday, 6 p.m. EST. So that's when you guys can expect it. All right, cool. I will see you guys later. Thanks for coming.